I did the honourable thing, I honoured my contract, gave me notice in, and now I'm off. Anyway, thanks very much, and good luck to everyone at Radio 2.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm here to find the final resting place of Paul O'Grady. Oh my God, honestly, I use the word celebrity not quite glibly, but Paul was special, wasn't he? I'm at a beautiful place, by the way. This has got to be 10 out of 10, this place. Look, it's St Rumwolds Church, Bonnington. Just have a quick look. You can hear the wind whistling through the trees. No cars. Absolutely phenomenally lovely place. And we're going to go around the graveyard and find his final resting place. The one thing about, well, no, not the one thing, there's more than that, but the biggest thing about Paul O'Grady was that it was him on screen, genuine, 100%. And of course, that acerbic, sharp wit that he used to have with Lily Savage made him special. But when all that was dropped later on and he started his chat show, he was still Paul O'Grady, and he used to welcome the guests on, and he used to make them feel special. And that's what made Paul O'Grady special, and I loved him. Unfortunately, yesterday another person died who was a great interviewer, and that was Michael Parkinson. And I mean, I watched him in the 70s, and he was great at that job. But I've got to say that I'm not saying that Paul was better, but the entertainment you got when you watched the Paul O'Grady show was something, wasn't it? Because there was always so much humour, and that was the thing with Paul. What made him absolutely unbelievably talented was he never scripted anything. He had all that, well, he may have scripted it to a degree, but it was a bit like Billy Connolly. He could just come straight back with the humour. And when the early days, when he used to play the Vauxhall Tavern, that's what made him sort of really special, because it's a beautiful church, by the way. I'm going to show you in a minute. But the Vauxhall Tavern, he used to get hecklers, and he was on as Lily Savage, the early Lily Savage, wasn't it? I mean, it started off as a burlesque dancer, and that turned into Lily Savage, and of course that's what got him famous. But the way that he could just immerse himself in the audience, and if they started on him, he could fight back. He was a tough guy. He was a boxer. People don't realise that. He was a tough way in every single way. Tough in character, tough in physicality, and he could deal with these hecklers, no problem. And you could see that, and that's why you've got to admire him. He was one of those people that he had very strong opinions, and you used to tend to say, yeah, that's right. You fell into that camp with him, and he hated injustice, and that's what made him so angry. And in a way, and I think that's what made him fight, because he was born in a very rough time in Birkenhead, and of course he was homosexual. Well, he went with men and women in the beginning. He said he was very sexual, but he didn't know, and of course at 17 he went to the side of men, and he realised that was what he was. But he fought for them, and he didn't like the injustice of society putting them down. And you've got to agree with him, because we're all human. We all deserve pride, don't we? So I was on his side for everything. He started off by saying one day he was 17 years old, and his mother had a heart attack, and his father had an heart attack. And on that very day, and his father died, by the way, so this is a terrible day. He got a phone call from his girlfriend, and his girlfriend said, Paul, I've got some news for you, I'm pregnant. So he said, what the mother of a day that was. Can you imagine that? All those things happening in one day. Wow.
And another thing, have a nice day and missing you already. I mean, thank God we don't do that over here. Imagine them in the co-op on the checkouts. They're $14.99, thank you. Missing you already. Absolutely. do you know when we were... this is the truth.
Oh, look, I'm so busy talking I didn't show you the church. Can you see? Look at how gorgeous it is. I'm keeping an eye on, because there's going to be an absolute abundance of flowers when I find his grave, I've no doubt. Look, I'll just show you if you can. I know I've come back, but I meant to show you the church. There we go. Sorry about that. Of course, this is where on the news the coffin came up here. and they had the band playing over there, and that's where they took the coffin through that door, which is there. Yeah, sad day at 67 years old. He was plagued by a weak heart, wasn't he? He'd had many heart attacks before that, and that's what finished him off, so young. Oh, what a shame. Oh God, I mean, I just listened to his programmes on Radio 2, and I watched the chat shows. You know, he used to be on, didn't he, for 11 years. I think he was on for 14 episodes in 11 years. And of course, the thing with him on the chat show was he didn't want the big names. He wanted the people that he liked, you know, like off Coronation Street. And he liked Roger Moore. He's a big fan of Roger's. He said he was a very, very amicable and great storyteller. So he tried to, and that the producers fought a bit. The producers fought him a little bit, but he tended to try and get the people that he liked on the show, and why not? He was the star of the show. Look, I'm going to spin you so you can see the view. I think that's a river there. Yeah, absolutely 99% perfect. It's just got a pile on there, but it's in the distance, but it's a beautiful spot. I love these places, you know. Sometimes I've been to the graveyards. I was thinking of Danny LaRue, similar drag act, but a lot different to Paul, and I just hated the spot where his graveyard was because it was so industrialised in the distance. I know these people are dead, but you kind of feel you want your soul to be in a place that's beautiful, don't you? And this is. So later on in his life, Paul did fight for the gay movement, and you couldn't have a better guy than Paul on your side, could you, as a fighter? Strong man, strong. And the biggest love of his life was a chap called Brendan Murphy, who was his manager as well and partner. And people said in the early days they were both tough guys, really, and they used to fight, but they loved each other. And it was mentioned they were a bit like Bonnie and Clyde. But yeah, he was with Brendan for a long time until he sadly died at the age of 49 in 2005. What a shame. His first break in TV was on The Bill, and he played Roxanne, a guy cross-dressing who was an informer, and he was a good actor. That's why it was successful. And the only thing was, unfortunately, his poor mother, she died at this point, and she never actually saw him because it wasn't aired in time. That's sad, really. She'd have been so proud. Really, I'm not going to go through his career because he did so many things. But in that early part, he got on the Big Breakfast Show, which was on the morning. I used to watch it, and he was perfect for it because of the quickness of his mind and the humour. And if the guest came on, he was hoofing it all the time. And he was perfect in that role. And it kind of got him very much highlighted, and he went on to do things like Prisoner Cell Block H on the stage. And then I think the biggest accomplishment was A Night with Paul O'Grady. And he was on stage, and I saw somebody I used to work for. I used to be the web manager of Uri Geller in the audience. And in this little clip he picked on Uri. And Uri, you know, spoon bending and all that sort of thing. He made a joke about, is there any women in the audience with a coil? Because she may get pinned to the seat, you know. In other words, he could bend the metal back. See what I mean? So quick with his wit. It's amazing, wasn't it? It was. I rate him like Billy Connolly. These guys are just so talented because they can pick out the everyday things and just turn them in, exaggerate them slightly and turn them into wonderful humour. It's amazing, wasn't he? He hooked up with lots of celebrities, but particularly Cilla Black. He was very close with her for 20 years, and they used to go on holiday together. And he told the funny stories with Cilla, and she'd locked herself out. So he gives her a push up to get through a window. She's clambering through this window, and all of a sudden somebody appears, one of the neighbours. Cilla sort of doubled over looking through the glass, and they're staring at her bum. And so Cilla goes, "Surprise, surprise!" Typical Cilla, that, wasn't it? She was quick as well. Beautiful trees, just look. I just love this place. Oh yeah. And that church, phenom, isn't it? Phenom. Yeah. After 15 years of doing Lily Savage, he suddenly had enough, and he kicked his leopard skins all around the house, and he said, that's it. And it was courageous because nobody had ever really seen him as Paul. It was just Lily that knew. And I kind of think he'd had enough of that. And one day he said he told this little story. He's out with Buster himself, you know, he's dressed as Paul. And two ladies recognised Buster, not him. Of course they wouldn't, because they were used to Lily Savage. And they come flocking over and, oh look, it's Buster. Do you work for Lily Savage? And he says, yeah, I do, she's a right cow. And the two women set about him almost, and they said, how dare you say that about Lily? She's a wonderful character. And he kind of had to do a quick retreat because, yeah, they were very angry with him. I'm going to see if we can get inside the church. Be nice to see it, wouldn't it? Wow, look at this wood. Just think how old that is. Unbelievable, isn't it? Look at the woodworm. It's looking good. Open, push, handle and push hard. Oh yeah? Oh yeah, brilliant. Superb. We'll sign the book in a minute. Lovely little church, isn't it? This is the doors that they came in. This is where Paul was brought through those doors there. That's where they held the service for him down there. I've just signed a book. Please excuse it if it's a bit scrawly, but I wasn't going to film that bit. But look, it's lovely. There's some lovely comments from people. Just going to show you now. There we go. That's my little bit of scrawl, but look, God bless you, Paul, from London. Paul, you were the brightest star on earth. You will be in heaven. We'll love you forever. Quite a few people being, look, Paul, look. There we are. Oh, yeah. Rest in R.I.P. Paul. Isn't that lovely? Nice. There we go. And look, I've just seen it. Oh, isn't that nice? Look. It's a little, for a personality such funny and great guy, for animals that Paul loved and cared so much for. There he is, look. That's lovely. Somebody's made that up for him, haven't they? There we go, if you want to read it. Okay, we better go out and find Paul anyway. It's really sweet, that. Love this old door. I always still love these old doors. They're so old. Nobody, don't say that about me, please. No, I do love him, I really do. So his first programmes as himself was a travelogue. I mean, now they're quite common out there, but at that time it was unique. And he did quite a good job of that, but he got a little bit of slating, I think, from the press, which upset him. But then he went on to start his Paul O'Grady chat show, which was on 5 till 6. And he said once, even when he was rich and famous, he said, I don't feel it. I feel I'm working class. I'm the Paul that started out. He was a modest and unpretentious man, for sure. That's really sweet, isn't it? So he started the Paul O'Grady chat show 5 o'clock till 6, and I used to watch it. And he really liked to get his own guests in, like I said, the ones that he liked, and that's what the producers started to fight a bit with him for. And the show went on for, it was 14 series, 11 years. So it was a very long running show. And during that show, of course, Buster died because he got cancer, and that was very sad. And at the end, I think Paul was very sad when he stopped the show, but he'd had enough. He just wanted to, he didn't want to just promote other artists' products over and over again. You know, the latest film or book or whatever they're doing. So he decided enough is enough. And I don't blame him. That's the way he was. He did what he wanted. I always say with some stars, if you start to, believe the press, then you've lost it. And some do that, don't they? Pity for them. So in 2015, he's now 60, and he's giving his talk show up. So he wrote to a friend and he said, I'm going to start to work with the Salvation Army. They said, and this friend says, you've got to be mad. That's never going to work. Typical Paul, took no notice, moved on and did. And he used to go on the streets and talk to the public, and he was with them. That's the thing, he was with them. He was one of them. He wasn't the star. He was Paul, the friend on the street with these unfortunates. And it was a good programme. I saw a few of them. And at the same time after that, he went into the Battersea Dog Home programme, where they originally were just going to have him stood at the gates introducing it, you know, like he wouldn't really be involved. Not with Paul, no way. He was in there, and suddenly the whole show changed. He was paws and hands on, wasn't he? Definitely. The only problem was that he loved the dog so much, he kept taking them home, and it became a real problem. He ended up with so many dogs he couldn't really handle it. But he loved those dogs, he really did, you could see it. Oh, I think he once said, I love dogs more than humans, and I think he did. He loved all animals, he always had done. That's what made him a beautiful person, he genuinely cared. That's what makes all the difference. I was listening the day that he gave his Radio 2 show up, and I was sad because I used to listen to it every Sunday, well, most Sundays anyway. And he did that for the same thing. They were pushing him to do too many shows, I think. And he just decided that was it. And he gave that up. I felt sad. He used to be so funny with Malcolm, the producer. They used to bounce off each other. It was a good show. I loved it. The chat show won awards. It got the Best Daytime Programme from the Royal Television Society, and it was the Best Entertainment Programme at the BAFTAs. So it was definitely a massive success, was his chat show. I think it definitely outdid Richard and Judy at the time. Well done, Paul. Paul James O'Grady MBE DL, born on the 14th of June 1955 and sadly died on the 28th of March 2023. Leaving school aged 16, Paul obtained a job in the civil service, working as a clerical assistant for the DHS at their Liverpool office. He worked part-time at the bar of the Royal Air Force Association Club in Oxton. Called in for a disciplinary hearing at the DHSS and accused of incompetent behaviour and tardiness, he resigned. Obtaining a job at the Wheatsheaf Hotel in Virgin Water, Surrey, aged 17, Paul moved there. The management accused him of stealing, which he denied. While working for Camden Social Services, Paul made his first attempt at putting together a drag act, creating the character of Lily Savage. He later said, I wanted to get up there and be larger than life and create a creature that was more like a cartoon than human. His debut was on the afternoon of the 7th of October 1978 at the Black Cap Gay Pub in Camden, where his act involved miming the words of Barbra Streisand's Nobody Makes a Pass at Me from the show Pins and Needles. In 1984, Paul began working as a barman at the Vauxhall Gay Pub, the Elephant and Castle. As Lily, he compared Ladies' Night each Tuesday, where amateur drag acts would perform. He tried out comedy routines and became known for insulting both the acts and the audience. He attracted growing crowds. After 6 months, he transferred his act to the nearby Royal Vauxhall Tavern Gay Pub, reopening his show on Thursday nights as Stars of the Future. In 1985, he obtained his own council flat in Vauxhall's Victoria Mansions. During the mid-1980s, he entered into a relationship with Brendan Murphy, the manager of the gay sauna near the Oval, Kensington. Murphy subsequently became Paul's manager. Brendan died in 2005. In August 2017, Paul married Portiazio in a ceremony at London's Goring Hotel, although the pair continued to live separately. Paul died unexpectedly but peacefully at his home in Kent on the 28th of March 2023 at the age of 67 from a sudden cardiac arrhythmia. His death was announced by his husband, Andrea Portiazio, and the tributes poured in from global figures and celebrities, including Queen Camilla, television presenter Lorraine Kelly, and LGBT rights campaigner Peter Tatchell. Paul has been hailed by many as a national treasure. Paul's final performance was as Miss Hannigan in Annie at the Edward Playhouse just days before his death. I had this idea that it was buried at the back. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But I've now seen it because there's a few with flowers, but I can see one with quite a lot of flowers. So I'm going to spin you around and we're going to approach it together. I don't know, you know. I never met him in real life. He's one of those people I would like to have met, and it just feels sad that I never got the chance. But I guess a lot of you people out there that were fans feel the same, don't you? Let's all meet him together the best we can do now. Spin you around, here we go, we're moving him. Hello Paul. I've just been rattling on about you, saying how great you were. And there we are. Oh yeah, very nice. There will be a headstone, I'm sure, one day. This is a temporary thing, isn't it? But I'm going to move in so we can see. Oh, I can't packet of cigarettes. He used to smoke a lot, unfortunately. That's partly why, you know, he died young, I think. And here we are. We're going to move in and read it. There we go. Let me get down on my knees. Here we are. Hello, Paul. Hiya, mate. Loved you on TV. Absolutely loved you. It says, Paul James O'Grady died the 28th of March 2023, aged 67 years. Oh, I can't believe it. I was listening to it on radio. It didn't seem 2 minutes ago. There we are, Paul. And this one is his partner. Let me get that over there. There we are. Brendan Murphy died the 9th of June 2005, aged 49 years. Oh dear. Poor Brendan. That's too young, isn't it? Little Robin's there. There we are. There's a few cats. I'm surprised there's not that. I think that's supposed to be like Buster there, look. Nice flowers at the back. Okay, we've come to the bit where the MotorHome Beep Beep flower is going to go on for Paul. It's not a real one, I keep saying that, because cut real ones, you're killing them. So let's spin it round. There we go. Here we go, Paul. There we are, mate. I'll put that there. There we are. There we go. That's it. That's lovely. That's it. That looks great. And that's for Brendan too. Thank you, Paul. I always feel sad when I'm leaving. You know, Paul, yeah, we could learn from Paul. Do you know why? Because he had a tough upbringing. He fought in a time when it was tough to be gay, and he wouldn't accept what people tried to make out he was, you know, not a good person. And he's got to be admired. But there is a thing, and it's true, it's called Gestalt in psychology. And it means that if you have a beautiful white shirt and you get a little stain on it, what do most people look at? The stain. They don't see the 99.9% that's lovely. So remember, every day somebody might have a little go at you, and maybe they pip their on, or they say something nasty to you, or they actually make it more personal and they say, that's not good, that's, you know, we don't like what you've done. If you feel happy with what you've done, shrug it off, get tough, don't accept it, because you don't have to accept what other people think about you. You decide. It's true, I do it. I've mastered that quite well. Not all the time, but I've done quite well recently. And I've been doing that most of my life since I read about this. So, yeah. And another thing is, if you draw a line down the page of a paper, put everything you've done good down that day, anything you've done which you don't like, you'll see the list of things that you've done is so long that's good. And maybe one or two that's not so good, because you couldn't help it. We're not perfect. That's what we are. We're overall good people. So remember that when somebody's trying to have a little go at you. Don't accept it. So on that note, don't forget the thumbs up. Subscribe if you love the content. I'd love to see you. And you know I love the comments. You know I do. So give me a comment, and I'll see you all very soon on MotorHome Beep Beep. Take care from me, Alan. Bye for now. That was a special one, wasn't it?